Let's start a new game. And let's talk about the power of eye contact. Eye contact. The windows to the soul. Yes, eye contact is crucial. It is a way to connect to others. It shows interest, understanding, attraction. It conveys sincerity and confidence. And what does it do scientifically speaking? Well, it affects areas of the brain, and it sparks lots of different emotions in a person. Eye contact is connected to a brain cluster associated with language production and reception, as well as a primary somatosensory cortex, which processes sensations such as physical touch, pain, and temperature. So in a way, eye contact has the ability to affect how someone feels. Well, in the very least, it has the ability to affect the part of the brain which processes these sensations or physical feelings. And it also affects the ventral striatum and orbital frontal cortex. And what does that mean? Well, it boosts positive reactions, it makes people feel connected, and it makes them feel attracted. And prolonged eye contact, which is generally defined as 3 seconds or longer, causes the release of oxytocin. Oh yeah, the love chemical. The chemical that makes you want to commit. And promotes long-term bonding. And it also causes the release of phenylethylamine, which creates bonding and attraction. So it really is a double whammy. Kind of makes you realize it's not just something simple to do, is it? No, there's more than meets the eye. In fact, during studies, it was found that couples that were deeply in love looked at each other 75% of the time while talking, versus the average of, let's say, 30 to 60% of the time of a regular schmegler conversation. So, is eye contact the true test of true love? Well, it's definitely a test of attraction, yeah, because studies show that people who are romantically attracted to someone will focus their eyes on that person's face and their eyes, as opposed to sexual desire, which just promotes fixation on the person's body. And attraction shows in the eyes. The classic body language cue, which cannot be controlled, I might add, is the dilation of the pupils. I'm sure we've all heard of it. A person's pupils naturally dilate when they're looking at someone that they're attracted to. And fun fact, people are more attracted to eyes when the person's eyes are dilated, which would explain, in part, why people tend to look more attractive in the dark, don't you think? And it gets even better. Did you know that a woman's pupils are more dilated during ovulation? Yeah, when they're more fertile? Yeah, isn't that interesting? Look, that the eyes will change to literally lure a person in. Look at that, ladies. We got more working for us than we ever thought. But whether there's romantic interest or not, eye contact is an amazing tool to use to bond with people, and it's critical for social interactions. Studies have shown that there's an automatic mimicry during eye contact between two people. Eye contact is mediated by the cerebellum and the limbic mirror system. This mimicry, due to the limbic mirror system, is a critical part of social interaction. It enables spontaneous synchronization and goal-directed cooperation as well, aka it's responsible for eye contact, as two people must synchronize their eye movements in order to achieve it. It's closely tied to the formation of relationships and the feeling of empathy. In fact, there was a really cool study done. They had somebody tell a story. They had them recount negative and positive memories of their life. And during that time, they tracked the listener's eyes as well as the speaker's eyes. Now, what they did was they had the speaker tell the story a second time. And do you know what happened? Upon hearing the story the second time, the listener's pupils dilated at the same time as the speaker's pupils dilating. At a very peak time in the story, during emotional peaks, they were synchronized during the same point of the story. Isn't that amazing? That just goes to show how this limbic mirror system really does take part and how people actually sync together during a moment of eye contact. Wow. So eye contact is a pathway which transfers information regarding emotional and mental states. And it also enhances motor resonance, meaning we become more responsive to the observed individual's actions. It activates the social brain, which is crucial for processing social cues and emotions. Isn't it amazing? I guess that's why I just love eye contact. Maybe that's why people do love it. But I should tell you something very interesting, actually. Going back to that study, do you know what they found? Just because you connect with the person through eye contact doesn't mean you should stay in eye contact forevermore. For example, when they're telling a story to you or when you're simply speaking with them, you shouldn't just stare into their eyes constantly. You have to break away. And do you know why? Because what they found was that by looking away and breaking that synchronicity in that moment allows you to access your brain again in order to bring new information into the conversation. So if you were literally just to stay looking at the person constantly, if you were to continue eye contact, you both would not be able to access your brain so that you can bring new life into the conversation. You actually need to break away in order to have a good conversation. So no, I'm not saying you should just stare at somebody, okay? But there is something to be said for that moment. There's definitely a connection being made. And with that being said, I'm gonna close out this video with some really cool quotes I found about eye contact. What do you say? Yeah, just as a ode to eye contact. Yeah, here we go. We try to hide our feelings with silence, but we forget that our eyes speak. Not bad. Eyes can't shine unless there's something burning bright behind them. Now that's true. Worlds change when eyes meet. I like that. And eye contact is more intimate than words will ever be. Isn't eye contact the best? Well, there you go. There's a science, some science of it. So go out there, don't be shy, and you can connect with people. Easy peasy. Just look at them. Okay, I'll see you guys later in the next video. Ciao, ciao.